Hi, I'm Alex Archibald. I've been buying and selling antiques since I was a kid. Over the years, generations of our family have gotten involved in the business, and I'll search just about anywhere I can to find hidden treasures both big and small. I never know what I'll turn up next. It's about exploring new places, seeing new sights, and having fun. And even though sometimes I get over my head, we try and make things a little better along the way. This is Curiosity. Hi guys, and welcome to today's episode. Well, I'm not proud to admit this. After a conversation with the gentleman who was upholstering some seats I had in a vehicle, we got to chatting and discovered he also had a project car. Unfortunately for him, he was moving, was partway through doing some interior work and kind of gave up on it. And in what was either a moment of boredom, weakness, unbridled enthusiasm for my skill set, which is kind of non-existent, I ended up buying this thing. And it's right behind me right now. Let me get to a spot where you can see it. It is a 1961 Jaguar Mark II, 3.8 liter, 4-speed manual transmission. Kind of a cool car. Unfortunately, it's mostly in pieces, the inside anyway. Let me show you the car and show you what I'm going to be working on in the next couple videos regarding this car. Anyway, usually when summer comes around, I start working on cars. And, well, this is another one got added to the fleet. Let me show you. So from here, it actually doesn't look so bad. It's shiny, the chrome is nice. And honestly, the Mark II Jags are a very pretty car. In fact, if you watch a lot of movies from England from the 1960s, most of the baddies, the getaway guys, the drivers, after robbing a bank, would be escaping in a car just like this. They were known for their performance, their sportiness, their luxury, and are a desirable vehicle. This one has a couple issues with the interior, as in it's pretty well gutted. Now, he started reupholstering the seats. Like I said, he owns an upholstery shop. So I've got 3/4 of the seats redone, and part of our deal was that he'd get the other two, the bucket seats for the front, get them finished up, so at least I'd have that. But that said, I still have to figure out replacing these ratty and busted door panels. I have to put carpet in it because he stripped it all out and primed the floors, which thankfully are solid. And I'm trying to avoid any kind of vehicle that requires major rust repair right now. This car does need a bit of going through, to say the least. Apparently it's a driver. It was last on the road in 2017 before he took the interior apart. It was a assembled driving car. The paint, the hues of the silver kind of don't match super great. You can see how the front clip is a little bit darker. I think he probably had that repainted at some point, and whatever body shop he took it to didn't match the silver very well. So it does need it needs some stuff. But it's a cool car. And I don't know, I was thinking. So here is my pile of parts. I've got extra bits that came off of a parts car, like an extra center radio console. I have one in there. It's the wrong color, but it's fine. Extra bits and pieces. I really don't know what is for this car and what is for the parts car. There's my center console right there, which looks like it needs some TLC, some upholstery, some work. So I've got to go through all this and try and figure out what the heck goes where. That said, let me back up again. Again, cool car, a lot of bits and pieces. So on today's episode, I'm pretty much just going to try and get the interior cleaned out of the old seats. I'll probably get some paint on the floors so that I can prep it for carpet, which I'll do myself. And just try and sort out what goes where. Which will be a pretty good start to a first episode of just basically prepping. Mostly the interior is what needs to be done in this car. I hope. So guys, time to roll up my sleeves and get going on another project. 1961 Jag, Mark II, Jag, Mark II. 3.8 liter, 4-speed car. Let's go. Here's the original color. The interior is sort of this gray. These panels have shrunk a little bit. Back ones aren't terrible. Front ones are toast. The pockets are all falling out and everything. This is a front seat bucket bottom, which is done like so. So I've got the bottoms of the front seats, don't have the frames or the back. He still has those to do for me. There's the back of the back seat. No armrest in here though. See if I can find that. Here's the bottom of the back seat, which is completed. You can't put that in until you put the back on. You can't put the back on until you get the armrest in. So there's a few things that have to happen here. All right, let's get this out. Okay, I have some door trim. There's my missing hubcap. Where did that come from? Off the front. Right there, but I see there's a bolt off it, so I'll have to fix that first. What I should do is get some bins laid out and start putting stuff like exterior trim in one bin, interior trim in another. Got most of my seats. I really don't know why I decided to take this project on. I am baffled myself. I don't mind these cars, but I'm not really into them anymore. That said, somebody watching at home is going, Alex, you're crazy. These cars are awesome. And yeah, they are a good car. Okay, I guess that's why I picked it up, is because I'm familiar with them. I've had 2 of these in the past. Burlwood's all right. I've had a couple of these cars in the past, so they don't really scare me, but I forgot how daunting the interiors can be, because there's a lot of bits and pieces that go into the interior of an old Jag like this. I did start putting some interior stuff in this bin. I'll bring this one out. But not a Ziploc bag, no labeled nothing. It's gonna be a big guessing game where stuff goes. Incidentally, I'm not meaning to be overly critical of the fellow that had this car before, but if you ever take a car apart, it's good to have plastic Ziploc bags and you label it like horn button, screws for horn button, screws for tail light, you know, whatever it is, label it. Makes it really easy in case you don't have a perfect memory, which really nobody does. That said, I'm gonna see if I can go through this puzzle and put everything in its proper place. And hopefully I can decipher where everything goes. It'd be a little tricky though. Kind of notice in the trunk, these little pieces that look like they're frame sections are actually seat supports. They go like right there. Don't exactly know why they were taken out. I'll have to check the threads on them and make sure they're okay, but those definitely need to go back in. I'll put those in after I get all this tar and old carpet taken out of here. We're getting closer. Okie dokie. Interior is more or less cleaned out. This is the heater hose, connects back there into that. And then it sits up top underneath the center console. Actually mounts right there for heat for your back seat. There was really no reason for him to lift all the tar. These floors are rock solid, and taking off all that original tar pretty much only exposes it to the elements. You can start to see a little bit of surface rust there, discoloration of the metal. So we're actually going to put a protective layer of rust preventative paint on the areas that he's primed in this back area. And I'm gonna leave the tar paper and everything on that side as it is, because those floors are solid. No point undoing that British work that was done. And the Brits sure did know how to build a car back in the 60s. I don't know what it's like now. I haven't owned a newer British car, but I can say that in the 1950s and 60s, it was like they were building everything as though the Queen might sit and go for a drive in it at any given moment. They're all fancy with burlwood and leather and soundproofing and just lovely vehicles. Let's get some paint out. I'm going to let that sit on the floor and let it dry, but we're going to give that floor a coat of paint right now. It's much later. I got sidetracked, to be honest with you. I was painting the floors of the car, which actually turned out okay. And I got a phone call and my hands were soaked with, I had gloves on, but they're soaked in paint. And one of my other vehicles was in the shop getting brakes. They needed me to go pick up a part for it. I did, and I took my Jeep and it broke down. So I've been working on that now. Got it fixed. My starter, one of the bolts fell off the starter and I got stuck on the side of the road. Luckily, I salvaged the bolt and got it running again once I got it home. That said, I've got to start to considering what to do next on the Jag here. So let's have a look inside and see where we're at. It's going to take at least 24 hours for those floors to dry, and it will dry to a matte finish, but at least it's not like you're never going to see that. I only painted that so that it wouldn't get corrosion or that there wouldn't be any bare metal exposed. So any spot where there was bare metal, I painted it. I'm going to have to put the seat brackets on fairly soon because before any carpet goes in, the, I shouldn't say seat brackets, the seat rail supports that go on there. But this side was out and I don't know what the screws look like. And as I showed you before, all the screws and stuff are just, they're kind of thrown in these buckets and bins, which I'm still yet to sort. But the nice thing about having the one side still all together is that I can look and see what the screws look like. And actually, if you look at that, there's red upholstery. This thing had a red interior originally, which would have been sharp. Oh well, it's going to black now. The seats are done. So I'm looking for some large slotted screws to put those things in. At least now I know what I'm looking for. I think I might have lucked out and found them in with this assortment of screws in here. I think I got all of them. Should be 4 per side. I've got 3, 4, and 4. So that should allow me to get those back in. Might clean that up, brush it up a little bit before it goes in. Not that you'll ever see it, but I'll know. Okay, some of that sorted out. I have moved on to, well, I mean, the sorting stage. It's a lot of use of the word sorting, but that's what I'm going to do. Anything that is wood, like these dash caps, it's not too bad. They're salvageable, are going to go in here. And I think I mentioned some of this came off of parts cars, so hopefully I'll be able to salvage like the good ones. That's a really nice one. Some of them are a little worse, but we're going to get those all stored in this bin. And then hopefully I can start sorting screws out. Don't know where this went. That's a dashboard piece. I can get that out of there. That the clear coat's all peeling off it, so it's not great, but in with the wood it goes. This is for the A-pillar. I have the black ones, which are going back in. This one's warped and not very good. However, does have the wood. So we'll salvage that little chunk of wood off of there and reattach. It's the same length. Yeah, it's the same length. Just have to put that wood back on, but worth it just for that one piece. Got the Jag up on the lift, taken the passenger front wheel off. It's because I had a stripped thread on that wheel stud right there. Luckily for me, out of one of my house clearouts I did, I had a thread cleaning tool, which basically just rethreads it and cleans up the threads that are stripped. And now I can really easily spin on and off that thread so I can get the wheel back on. I also had to have the wheel off here because the brake booster is actually mounted in the fender. The fellow I got the car from said it was mounted and ready to be plumbed. That wasn't necessarily the case. There was only one bolt holding it on, so it was wiggling all over the place. It is on there solid as a rock now. I got brand new bolts for it. We're gonna get the wheel back on and lower it down and hook up the brake lines. Also, we're gonna try and get a battery in this thing and see if anything happens, but time to get this stuff moved out of the way so I can get the wheel back on. Oh yeah, I bought this tiny little bottle jack on Amazon. This isn't a plug for it, but with it up on the lift, it's really heavy to get my big floor jack up here. So I got this little bottle jack and it's doing a great job. Exactly what I needed. Thought I would clean the gas out of the tank because it's probably pretty old and it's a little stinky. It doesn't even smell like gas. And I ran into a problem. Fuel line was snapped. So luckily I caught it before I dumped a bunch of gas all over the floor. I drained out what was left in the tank. Fuel pump looks new, which is good. But this plastic line, this plastic sort of nylon fuel line that they put on here, it's no good anymore. And it runs all the way from this pump in the trunk underneath the car all the way to the engine that way. And it's probably about 16 feet or so of fuel line. Found out it's 5/16. I'm gonna replace it with new fuel line because I don't want to run into any issues. And once we get that all replaced and fixed up, I should hopefully be able to put some fresh gas in and see where we're at. The nice thing about this is that the fuel pump's really easy to get to. It's just in the trunk here, and these lines, which although they're brittle, very easy to get on and replace. So that's what I'm gonna do, start replacing fuel line. Here's the update. The fuel pump is in. New fuel lines run all along the bottom of the car, all the way back up to the filter, which then leads to the engine. I have been flushing the old gas out using the fuel pump and a jerry can, which there wasn't much gas left in the tank, thankfully, so I got that out. And now, with a bit of a charge on the battery, I've got my, it's funny, I couldn't find the battery tie down. You probably see there's a ratchet strap around the battery. So that was my make do until I found it. Well, it was in the trunk, so I'll eventually put that back on. But let's give this a whirl and see where we're at. I was also trying to figure out where this wiring goes. I think it's for my overdrive switch, which is not currently hooked up. But new ignition on, heard the fuel pump kick in, and starter button. There she goes. She's running, which is great. The RPM's a little low. It should be, it's funny, my gas pedal is off. I'm missing the bolt for it, which I've ordered, but I'm just gonna push on the pedal with it. It should be around 1,000 RPM. That engine actually sounds healthy. And yes, I did check all the fluids, made sure oil was topped up and everything on it, but there she is. It's a running car. So I've got brakes and it runs. So in theory, this thing should drive. Unfortunately, I can't get out of the garage just yet because my garage door is blocked with a giant crate. But that is, let's see, my brake fluid level seems like it's up. Make sure I still have brakes. Yes, I do. And my brake booster feels like it's working. I've almost got myself a car. Now that I know the car runs, I've got it up and out of the way, and that will be a future project once I would get the door panels and the seats in, which will be the next episode, getting the interior together and hoping to make it a running and driving car. I mean, starts and runs, that's a really good start, but we haven't even driven it yet. Hard to do with no seats in it. Anyway, guys, stay tuned for episode 2, which will be coming out soon. If you haven't subscribed, well, heck, make sure to do that because that's how you get updated when the new videos come out. But let's see if we can turn this beautiful old classic Jag into a daily driver before too long. I am feeling confident, but you never know what's going to cross your path when you start working on an old car. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you all soon. And as always, bye for now.